Yeah, it was since then. I went out there last week and started knocking on some doors and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
about the project, and most of them were like, yeah, there's two guys in there. They said there would definitely be here.
All right. Um,
So,
Good evening. It's 5 o'clock, so we'll get the party started. Uh, this is the 16th Street widening project that is going to be a joint project with the City of Holland Transportation Department and the Holland BPW. So I'm Mark Gibson. I'm representing the Holland BPW, and I'll do my best to get the most of this presentation tonight myself if I can get everything to work. This project's slated for next year, next summer. The project team is Brian White at the City of Holland, myself at the Holland Board of Public Works, and our design firm is Whiteman with Aaron Neatling and Derek Miller. So, we'll jump right in. This is, in some ways, a very limited project compared to a lot of our street reconstructs. It is going to get a full pavement replacement, so that's going to drive a lot of the decisions we get to in the end. But we're only going one country block here, from Country Club to Quarter Line. And the idea is to get the widening that was started at Quarter Line and carry that west. This is kind of that new proposed cross section that shows the middle lane and then still 2 eastbound and 2 westbound lanes. And they're going to get the additional width by moving the curbs on each side of the road, both north and south. And then the little section here at the very east end of the project, the BPW is going to chase down a segment of Main we didn't get to in a previous project.
Do you have handouts for this stuff?
We do have a large print set, and I bet we could even send you home with that if you wanted. Just a quick profile of what we're looking at for the water main work and everything going on there. A lot of this plan and profile, what you'll see is a lot of line work along the edges of the road, and so that's the fun part when you move curb. Everything that's in the curb line has to get adjusted. So every single storm catch basin needs to be pulled out and reset, all the individual castings and all that. So the project is going to be phased in. Let's see if he didn't quite have this set up as for phasing. They're looking at completing the work in like 2 phases, one side of the road and then flopping back to the other. Currently the plan, and I say currently because we haven't actually talked to a contractor yet, it's out for bid. So depending on what we can get for availability and parts and timeline, but right now the idea is to start with the water main work, so that means we close the north side of the road. For traffic safety, it's always good to train folks into one style of detour. So the choice was to keep westbound traffic into the city as the main traffic movement and then detour eastbound around 24th Street. So the idea is for the project, we'll always have westbound traffic on either the north or south part of the road. And then eastbound will have to detour around. So that it'll be 2 phases. We tear up the curb, move the curb, set the new catch basins, move the new stuff, replace the curb, get some base courses of pavement in, go to the next side of the road, and then kind of do the whole same thing over again. Tear out the curb, reset the curb, fix driveways, fix sidewalk, get all the grading and everything together. And then once we have both sides with the new curb and the new alignments, that's when the day of fun will happen, and we schedule complete top course pavement of the entire project. Should take about 24 hours. Once again, It's a common construction sequencing thing to ask for. We can usually get it, like we did it on Pine Avenue last summer. And can do some nighttime paving, that sort of thing. But I don't want to make promises because we haven't asked contractors on their precise availability. So 2 phases. Right now, our guess is about 8 to 10 weeks total for the entire project. And of course, we kick off after tulip time, hopefully, and wrap it up as fast as we can. That usually puts us in mid-June for pavement, which is really good. Getting everything back together. Last slide here shows a little bit of the proposed pavement markings and lane markings. It's going to pretty much match what is currently at the quarter line intersection with 5 lanes. So water service replacements. Right now, we are not planning on any of this. We don't have any records of the 8 or so water services that are going to be impacted on the project as needing the water service replacement. This is related to that lead copper rule. These water services are generally newer than what was governed by the lead copper rule. But if we do find galvanized steel on the water services as we're connecting them, we are currently replacing water services from that curb box into the house. So if we do see that, we will be doing this. Otherwise, most folks will see an adjustment of the curb box and perhaps some replacement of the right-of-way water service as where that water main moves to get folks set up and lined up. If you need a storm sewer connection, and there is some clay seams in this area, either for your clean, stormwater pumps or downspouts, please let us know. Roof drains, all that fun stuff, let us know so we can make provisions for you connecting to storm sewers. That usually looks like a connection in the back of the catch basins. And so if you have one, please let us know. If you think you will need one, please let us know. It is much, much, much easier to get that taken care of during the project than it is the day after we put new curb in.
Now, when you say sub pumps and all that, you're talking people that pump stuff originally into the drain?
Yeah.
I have a sub pump, but it doesn't.
Well, so some folks have like footing drains and such, and so that's considered kind of like a clean water because you're just getting rainwater and such. That can go to the storm. If you have some pumps in your basement and you got the laundry next door, that still comes to my sanitary sewer. But if you see any need for your house that you have drainage improvements that you need to have happen, please talk to us now because it's easier to take care of it when all that is going on. So, some expectations. You get to behave like your world is completely the same. Just follow the detours. Trash. Please put your house number on the trash can like a piece of duct tape and a magic marker. Mail goes right back out to your mailbox. Put your trash at the end of your driveway. If we need to, we will handle those issues in the project about getting the trash picked up or else. So sometimes we do move the trash cans or do special trash runs. That's why we ask for your house number so we can get them back. You have no idea how frustrating it is to move 55 trash carts and have 20 house numbers on them. Sprinklers. We intend to fix any sprinklers are impacted. It is much easier for us to fix those if they are marked prior to construction because then we don't tear out everything in there. We can clip them and remove what's impacted, and then we bring in professional irrigation companies to make the repairs when the work's done. A tree survey was done to survey what trees are either A, just dead and need removal because in the right of way, because we want to take that care of now instead of having them come down new roads, or any trees that are going to be impacted. My memory says there's about 4 trees that are going to be removed for the project with the moving curb, and that includes, I think, 1 that was dead and 1 that was diseased and dying. Utility service interruptions. If it becomes necessary to shut off the water to any house, we hang a notice on the door and try to let folks know at least a day in advance. And then those utility interruptions are kept as short as possible. And we try to time them between major points in your day. So 8 a.m. to noon, and then we try to get the water back on for lunch, or we'll do one in the afternoon between lunch and dinner. So everybody can count on getting up in the morning, getting their shower by 8 a.m. We don't try not to, without consent of everybody, of doing anything before 8 a.m. and then, between the meal times, so everybody can have some time to get it done. And we are looking at a night paving to get that top course on the complete project. We are out to bid. And just depending on where this falls in contractor schedules, MDOT work, resurfacing, we're either going to kick it off right after tulip time or squeeze it in at the end of the season. It just kind of depends how everything comes together with material availability, contractor availability, and all the other fun stuff. There will be a second public meeting in the spring when we have everything fine-tuned down to dates and time and where it's all moving. So that will start in May or end of the summer of next summer. We've made it to the end, so it's time for questions from the audience or anything else.
So how far on each side of the road you gonna go? 5 feet?
Correct, we're adding the 10-foot center turn lane, so it's basically a symmetrical widening of 5 feet each side. So it's within the right of way, and we should match, we believe we're matching pretty close to everything. We have talked to certain residents about drinking permits, so and we can look at the plans afterwards.
Yeah.
But if you have a driveway that might need to be adjusted, then we'll be talking about grading permits. There's a couple spots, potential sidewalk easements that might be required to the north side, but as far as impacts, it's very minimal. A little bit of utility work's gonna go on for phone and cable and power.
How about consumers, they're gonna bury their line?
We don't know.
Was asked of them?
We've talked with we had a utility meeting. Consumers wasn't there, but the cable company was. And it was kind of bouncing back and forth of, some were starting to look at possibly going underground. They haven't finalized that decision, but they were waiting to hear what consumers was gonna do.
So quick review for those online. The question is, what does that widening look like? The answer is most of the street will see about a 5-foot movement in the curb on both the north and south side. So with that, the driveway aprons do come out. Driveway aprons go back to match the new curb line. That's all included in the project. And then there's a few spots where the sidewalk's getting too close to the new curb, so they want to look at that. And then I think that you guys had noted a couple driveways that it might make best to talk to the homeowners about repaving beyond the right-of-way just to get a nice grade back to the road. Call that the construction easement, so that we can build it in such a way that it's appropriate for the road widening. Yeah, and then yes, we have reached out to consumers to underground the power poles on the south side, they're not as nice to play with as the BPW. So that's been a difficult just to even get some good answers out of them. Is there anything online?
Yeah, there was one question that doesn't pertain to project too much, but you have plans for 13th Street from Columbia West to Central.
Plans for 13th from Columbia to Central. Oh, that's the south edge of Hope's campus. Not specific plans at this time is what is the best answer I could say. If they have some concerns, they could reach out and leave a number, and we could connect with them online. There is some, if memory just says in my head, that that block does have a lot of those water service replacements, and I think the pavement's been getting a little beat up because there's a few remodels since there were some street cuts in the past 4 or 5 years for some new fire services and such. So we could look at the crystal ball and get with the person with the question and try to get them a good answer on specifics of what they would like to see on 13th. Okay. Well, that will conclude our public presentation. We're now going to break off from YouTube. We'll leave the chat open on YouTube, so feel free to add any other questions, and just a way to contact you, email, phone number, something. We'll reach out, or just call in. My direct line is 355-1644. Just give me a call, and we'll talk through the project or any other utility concerns you have. So that's all we had for the public portion. We'll now take a break and look at plans.